On October 8, 2018, Hurricane Michael underwent a 48-hour rapid intensification period where it went from a Category 1 hurricane to a Category 4 hurricane. By landfall on October 10, 2018 at 12:30 p.m. Central Time, Hurricane Michael was an unprecedented for the region Category 5 hurricane, making landfall near Tyndall Air Force Base, Florida. Hurricane Michael was the strongest hurricane in recorded history to make landfall on the Florida Panhandle. Landing with sustained winds of 161 miles per hour and a minimum pressure of 919 millibars, the storm was the fourth most powerful hurricane to hit the United States, spreading devastation far inland through many counties in northwestern Florida, from Bay County, Gulf County, Calhoun County, even through Jackson County and Leon County, where the state capital is located. Hurricane Michael was unique in that it maintained its major hurricane status all the way through the Florida-Georgia state line. As it entered Seminole County, Georgia, it was still a strong Category 3 hurricane. Across northwestern Florida and into the state of Georgia, Hurricane Michael was responsible for $25 billion in damages. These are the 31 voices of Hurricane Michael, representing the many unique experiences and perspectives of the community members who endured the storm and its impacts. Voices of hope, empathy, pain, lessons learned, grit, determination, and extensive insight into one of the most catastrophic hurricane seasons the Florida Panhandle has ever encountered. I'm meteorologist Melissa Thomas, and allow me to introduce you to
meteorologist Melissa Thomas here with another one of the voices of the Hurricane Michael's Voice Project. On today's edition, we're going to speak with Miss Ashley Raffield, and we're going to explore her experience through Hurricane Michael's landfall on October 10th, 2018 in Bay Medical Hospital.
Yes,
So,
I just got the chills just you saying that.
Thank you for coming out and sharing that experience with us. The project has not been exposed to anything like that yet, and we really appreciate you being a part of the project now.
No, I really appreciate you, giving the actual voices to the project and letting people, hear those voices, because we are part of the Forgotten Coast, and it doesn't seem like anybody's recognized us. And I've still literally got chills.
Well, let's jump right into it then.
Yes.
Let's get a little bit of history pre-Hurricane Michael. How was Panama City home to you to begin with?
I was born and raised here. Actually, this Saturday will be my 33rd birthday.
So you weathered a storm, then rolled. Your birthday was just a non.
It was 2 days later.
Oh.
Yep. It was awful. But Bay County has always been my home. I've lived in most every city part of Bay County, whether it be Southport or Callaway or whatnot. And
I think it's really important that you highlight that Panama City has a lot of different little communities under that umbrella. So you have Parker, Springfield,
definitely,
Lynn Haven, Millville, so many different communities affected by the storm.
And you would be amazed at how many people actually live in Bay County. Once you see like resident census or whatnot, that there's a ton of people that live here. The city seems so small, or county seems so small, but it's really not. It's huge. I actually, at the time, was living over in Callaway at a little apartment complex. And I had just gotten my new apartment, and I got that in March of 2018. And so lo and behold,
summer of 2018 rolls around. Are you thinking hurricane? Are you prepared for hurricane?
I've been saying for years we are so overdue, and I just couldn't fathom anything that was to be foreseen or forecasted. And I worked at Bay Medical Hospital and I was a clinical secretary there on 5 cardiac. So I was in the new tower of the newest part of the building at Bay Medical Center. And there was a mandatory sign up where they placed you on A or B shift. Well, A shift is split up into day and night shift, and B shift is split up into day and night shift. A team actually works the mandatory through the storm and takes care of the patients. Now, B shift is the people that come in after to relieve the A shift.
Now, leading up to this, Monday, Hurricane Michael undergoes a 48-hour rapid intensification period where it goes from a Category 1 to a Category 4 by Tuesday night, or late Tuesday, early Wednesday morning, when it'll eventually make landfall as the Category 4, soon to be recorded as a Category 5. Was that much preparation time on top of your duties at the hospital? How were you juggling preparing personally and fulfilling your work obligations?
Mentally, I was scrambling, like trying to survive already. It was like the survival mode kicked in, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So luckily, I had a really good friend that would let me take my dogs. I have 2 rescue dogs, and let me take my dogs to her place in Andalusia, Alabama, which is 2 hours northwest. So I was like, okay, it should be a safe spot. Luckily, I did that because the days to come were absolutely horrifying, and my dogs would not have survived. So we actually were able to get off early. They all sent us home, and I was wondering, why are you sending us home early? I need my time. Because, everybody here either makes it just paycheck to paycheck or makes a little bit above average, and they're okay. And they told us, and I was like, I got on the phone. I called my friend, and she said, come on, bring the dogs. I said, okay. So I went and dropped them off, and I stayed the night at my friend's house because I didn't want to be alone. And I did not sleep the whole night at all. I stayed up watching that radar, whether it be on my phone or on the TV or updating it on whatever apps I had on my phone. And I remember taking a screenshot of it, and it just grew so big, so quick.
Now, this is Tuesday night leading into Wednesday morning.
This is Monday night.
Monday night, okay. So
Monday night.
So you watched the intensification period starting at the start of the 48 hours. You watched it go Category 1 for...
I did. And my grandmother, she's since passed in April of this year, but
I'm so sorry.
I appreciate it. She got me really big into watching the weather. Because when I was younger, we went to Selma, Alabama, and a tornado actually came by. And I know. I don't know how I remember this, but she got us into the hallway, threw a mattress over us, and said, don't get up. That tornado hit every other trailer, and I'll never forget the jaws of life had to cut a man out of his house by the road. So ever since then, I've always been into weather.
You're weather aware, which
definitely,
even if you don't have an impactful moment such as that, being weather aware is not a bad thing to be.
No.
At all.
No. I actually highly recommend everybody be weather aware. You don't know what's going to happen. The weather is not predictable. It's very unpredictable, and Mother Nature...
Download those local weather apps.
Yes.
That give you notifications if you're busy and you're not getting to look at it that day. You have that notification.
Exactly.
So you have experience at this point then with damage prior to a weather event.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Did it prepare you at all for what you would go through with Hurricane Michael's landfall? No,
because that year was the year that Opal hit, and my mom thought my dad was crazy. So we left, and we actually got it worse in Selma, Alabama than Opal did here. It literally looked like an atom bomb just dropped in Bay County and spread outwards towards Mexico Beach. And I refuse to go to Mexico Beach. I won't go anywhere past the Tyndall Bridge. I won't even go near the Tyndall Bridge. I don't want to see that. I already hurt every single day I'm here.
When did you walk through those doors at Bay Medical to start your shift pre-Hurricane Michael's landfall?
Like, when did I start there?
When did you start the shift for the storm?
For the shift for the
That
storm.
week.
I started Tuesday morning, sometime before 7 a.m. I came in and we had a huddle meeting like we always do. And then we went about our business and stuff. And then somebody had mentioned, hey, you won't have any cell service about, I don't know, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, something like that. I was like, how do you know that? I didn't think nothing of it. And periodically I'd still check on the storm, but I'd still try to stay calm. And then the next thing you know, the wind starts. The rain. The wind's picking up. And anybody that thinks it was anything less than a 4 is absolutely crazy. And I'm not trying to be rude about that. And I don't underestimate anyone about anything. But
it's definitely officially Category 5.
Yes.
And it's been upgraded.
Yes.
There's the locals that rode the storm out knew out the gate, though, that was a 5.
I definitely knew it was a 5.
And some of our local meteorologists were calling it as it was making its way into land.
Yeah. But that new tower of the hospital, somebody had sat down at the desk so I could go help a patient get a nasal cannula or something like that. And she said, the building's moving. I'm like, no, it's not. You know, we're in a good building and everything like that or whatever. It's a hospital. It's fine. I sat on top of the desk and it literally swayed back and forth, side to side, really, side to side. And I immediately went into survivor mode. It's either fight or flight. And I was fighting, for sure. I was in JROTC throughout high school, and I highly recommend that for any generation from now on, because they will help you teach and learn different tactics. I remember helping everybody get into the hallways because windows started busting, double pane windows at that, started busting. It looked like a tsunami because you could not see anything but water and wind just blowing it into the windows. We didn't know it, but at the time, the roof had actually ripped off the entire building. So it started, like every other patient's room I went in to make sure everybody was out. And we all did it as a team effort. Everybody dealt with it differently. That's, again, the fight or flight. So
you probably had some people cave to flight, some people coming out the gate as fight. You never know how you're going to respond to a situation like that till you're in it.
You really don't.
You're having to swim through it. So like you were saying, ROTC training, JROTC training, or any type of training pre-trauma of that sort of emergency.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely a must.
Yeah.
A field such as a caretaking field.
And I just remembered, because my memory is kind of shot after everything that I've been through, but I actually went through like junior firefighter explorers and stuff the county had back in my day. And that really helped out a lot too, because you never know what you're going to remember when something happens. Oh, wait, I remember that. And it really does help.
Or for it to, like, you to have the capacity to access it in a moment of panic.
Exactly. And that absolutely amazed me that I remembered stuff that was from years ago. But
it sounds like the patients were better for it and your team was better for it. Because sometimes all it takes is when you're in that moment of like caving to your flight, and it's getting hard and it's, sometimes it takes seeing that other person take up the helm of we can do this for you to go snap out of it and go, we can't do this. And
like I said before, we didn't realize that the roof was torn off, and every other patient's room in the light fixture in the bathroom was like a waterfall. So water and electricity don't mix at all. We're so blessed, and like the hand of God was on us, because no fire started especially in our building, it did not. There were fire alarms going off and everything else like that going on. But I believe it was a generator or something that was burning on another building or had just created black smoke.
I've also heard of fire alarms going off just due to shaking of the buildings.
I don't doubt it. I really don't. And even though I was worried about the building collapsing or something like that, I still made sure that, I talked to somebody just like I'm talking to you, but I said, hey, look, I need you to go do this. Do you understand? And I would repeat it again slowly. And I'm not saying it tooting my own horn or anything.
I cannot imagine having to being aware that the building can fall apart on you in any second and still doing your job.
Technically, my job is to take care of the patient's orders and call and make appointments and stuff like that. At the time, that was my position. But as a human being, it's your job to take care of one another. It really is. And if you don't have that kind of humanity, I mean, what kind of person are you? And
we got to see a bunch of great examples of that through Hurricane Michael, and it sounds like you were amongst them, running through the hospital, doing what you could, where you could.
Yes, ma'am, in ankle deep water. Ankle deep water. I ran down 5 flights of stairs. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. But I was getting extensions for the patients that needed to be on oxygen so we could get them out of the rooms. And we don't have an outside supply in the hallway of oxygen. So we have to run it through the room and underneath the door and then to the patient. So I did that. And in the meantime, I actually yelled at 3 people to get away from the hallway window. And I said, you need to take cover now. And they ran into a room, and as soon as they did, the windows busted. I don't know if the wind had shifted, because I have seen other video footage, like Joey Mandeville. The video footage where the wind goes this way and then it shifts in the opposite direction. And I think that's what happened. But then I came back up the stairs with the stairs being lined full of people, family members, patients, you name it. And
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
At the most intense part of the storm that you're going through at this moment, I know for a certain window, emergency services were not able to even respond to 911 calls until the worst of the storm was over. Did you have anybody making it to the hospital on their own in the midst of that? Or was, as far as patients incoming, was it quiet through the most intense part of the storm?
That part I don't know, because I was on the cardiac floor of the newest tower.
You weren't like in the ER?
No, ma'am, I was not. However, I have heard from a few nurses just talking amongst themselves, and I was listening because I always like to hear what somebody else is saying about it or what their experience was. And I don't know about during the storm, but after the storm or towards the end of the storm when it lightened up some, there were people coming in by the busloads. There, whether it be a van full of people or whatnot, and they were trying to find these people a place to go because they had no refuge. They had nothing. They just got caught up in a storm and had no idea what just hit them, or didn't really think it was going to be that bad. But, you know, the nurses down there, they did a great job taking care of those people that kept coming in. They really did.
And an already damaged structure themselves.
Exactly. And not knowing the extent of the damage. And it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And actually, that's one of the first things you learn is, you know, personal safety in EMT school. You know, you have to make sure you're okay, or you can't take care of anyone else. So.
You're in EMT school.
I am.
Did this experience inspire that, or was that a plan pre-storm?
I actually wanted to do something in the healthcare field. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew that was something that I had been yearning to do because I love helping people. I'd give you the shirt off my back, last penny to my name. I'd do whatever I could to help you.
Well, you were already in the hospital, so you
Yes.
were making your way there.
Yes.
Obviously.
I had already planned on going back to college. I didn't know what for. First, I thought maybe therapy or physical therapist or something like that. Then I thought about maybe an RN. And then I was like, no, that's not my cup of tea. So God bless all the nurses. I could not do what you do.
My
but
mom was a nurse. And shout out to the nurses.
Yes.
And I did learn myself too that my heart is not strong enough for that. And that is rock solid individuals
Exactly.
in that field. And they need support from all different fields around them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It definitely goes hand in hand. Yeah. It really does. But after the hurricane, I knew I wanted to be one of those EMTs going out to get somebody.
You wanted to be on the front line.
I wanted to be on the front line. Long story short, whenever I was in high school, like I said, I did mention that I was in ROTC all throughout high school, and I did really well. I wanted to join the Air Force because we were already Air Force ROTC in high school at Bay High School, 2005.
The Rams.
I still like you anyway. But my dad got sick. So, and it was a few years after 9/11. So he was like, baby girl, I really don't want you to go. So I decided to stay. And since I couldn't do that, I was like, I've always wanted to do something to help more. And as soon as I heard all them EMTs coming and shipping people off and driving people and going to people, making their way to somebody's house or just on the side of the road, helping people, I was like, that's what I want to do. So
You were currently studying as an EMT student, and I happen to have you on Facebook.
Yes.
And I noticed you're doing clinicals.
Yes.
So that must be fun.
It is.
And a great learning experience. The experience you went through with the hurricane, I think, will be invaluable. And
most definitely.
There might come a day, just to put this bug in your ear, that I'm just now learning about task forces that are formed after hurricanes such as this and disaster on this scale, that people that are experienced in your field, that have been through something like this, they join task forces and wait on the outside of a community about to have a landfall or a fire or some sort of catastrophe event. And then as soon as it's gone, they race in to help out because the community members are busy fixing their own homes. They're digging their own families out of the rubble. They're in shock. They're confused. So we've been through it now. There's a lot of people that leave these experiences and join task forces and wait on, like we had them for Hurricane Michael. We had task forces of just community members from other places in Florida, Louisiana, Texas, that had been through something of this scale and were waiting for landfall to pass and to rush in and help us because they had been there before. Is that not wild?
Wow. That is
something you should look into one day when you're out
definitely
fully trained.
Definitely. I had no
like
idea. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
The hurricane rolls through the hospital at its most intense, and you're going through it, and then it passes. What's that first couple of days like coming out of that? And how soon did you get home to assess your own damage away from the hospital?
So we didn't leave till Thursday. I was running on no sleep, a lot of Red Bull, which I do not recommend. When your adrenaline's going and you forget how many Red Bulls you had, you will end up in the ER hospital bed like I did because I thought I was having a heart attack, but it was just adrenaline and I needed sleep. And the Red Bull. Don't do it.
That's a really good tip. I'm glad you brought that
yes,
to the project.
Don't do that. But I mean, I was running on adrenaline. I wasn't hungry. I didn't want to sleep. I wanted to help. There was actually this one patient and her daughter that I will never forget till the day I draw my last breath. Her mom was there for, of course, we're on the cardiac floor. So she was there for an issue, a heart issue. And her daughter's, I asked her, I said, have you eaten anything? She said, no, I'll be fine. I'm just worried about her, because she also has an anxiety issue. And I was like, look, they brought us up food. Give me just a second. I'm not going to eat. I don't have time to. You know, I kind of fibbed a little, but not so much. It was a good white lie. And she actually ate the food that I gave her, which was awesome. And then whenever we transported everybody down to, I believe it was the ICU room or the PACU. I can't remember exactly which one. I believe it was PACU. So many people crammed up in one little spot. I mean, I went floor to floor finding beds along with other people. Even physicians were going to find beds. And we got everybody on beds and everything that they, needed at that moment. That was a necessity. And then enrolls some ambulances that finally got there. And after the ambulances finally got there, they were calling for flight medics, and they were calling for buses, and they were going out to, whether it be Pensacola or Tallahassee or any outlet that was available, those patients got the overflow. And I really feel bad because I don't know how those patients got back, or if they ever came back, or what happened to them. But I know that Bay County did what they had to do to make sure those lives were safe. The EMTs that I know of, don't personally know, but know of, they worked I don't know how many days straight with no day off, devoted to making sure that people were safe and they were okay and needed to get where they needed to go to. So the day I left the hospital was the day when patients were leaving. B team came in. I wasn't worried about my place. I knew that my dogs were safe. I'm good. I went and checked on one of my ex-coworkers and my mom's coworker, her husband, and her 2 kids, and checked on their office building afterwards because my mom was in Pensacola at the time. So the business owner wanted to know how her building fared. And then I went and checked on my best friend that I stayed with the night before, or the few nights before, and checked on them. And he actually, after the storm had passed, gotten up and cut away through the driveway and down the road so people could go around all the debris and stuff. Then I go to my apartment and I see everything under the sun. I'm going in, well, as us locals call it, Hogpen Curve. It's the big curve over there by the graveyard and everything, going to Callaway towards Tyndall.
Yep.
Yes. Going that way, water, it was still flooded right there before you get to the Walmart. And you had to dodge power lines and different debris. Finally get to my house, and my apartment is covered in trees. It's got a tree laying outside the door. Limbs are everywhere. I walk inside, and after my neighbor was so graciously nice enough to cut me a way through, I was already hysterical and crying because I was allowing myself to feel at that point. And I had a hole in my ceiling this big from a tree limb. And no, it's not like a lot of people's damage. Everybody else, had it worse in a sense. You know what I mean?
But you shouldn't diminish what you went through.
No, definitely not. I definitely acknowledge it. But it had, I would say, at least 2 foot of water in the apartment I had. And you could see water where the water level was. And then you could see almost a foot of water still standing in the apartment. And just that quick, mold had already started growing everywhere. So I literally lost everything except my truck and my 2 dogs. and of course my family and friends, which that's all I ever need.
I'm so sorry to hear that you did lose so much, though. It must have been hard.
It was really hard, and it's still hard now coping with it. I mean, I do, as an EMT in class, you have to do clinicals, and I went 45 minutes early. I sat in the parking lot at Bay Medical Center, and I started having an anxiety attack. And I just sat there, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can go in this building and relive everything that just happened to me almost a year ago already. And I called my sister, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And she said, I don't know what to tell you. Nothing I'm going to say is going to make you feel better. She said, but you got this. And she told me she loved me. And I said, okay. So I sat there for a few minutes and tried to listen to the radio and stuff. And I went in and did my 16-hour shift and saw some familiar faces I used to know and still know to this day. And it definitely helped seeing those familiar faces. But being back at the place where everything just flipped upside down, that's one of the worst feelings in the world. Like somebody just punched you in the gut.
Has it gotten a little bit easier? How many clinicals have you done since?
Today was actually my second clinical. So I did 8 hours today, and it's gotten a little bit better.
I hope it continues to get better, because the field, you're an essential.
Exactly.
So you better not give up.
No, I won't ever give up. This is definitely something that I call my calling.
And I think with your experiences now, you'll be so invaluable, home and anywhere that you, friends and family across the nation, you can educate on how to get through something like this. And with the project, I mean, that's the whole point of the project, is to share these experiences, what helped you through, help people not feel so alone while they're going through it. I mean, that's exactly why we're doing it.
Now, I will say this. Anybody that has an employer or has insurance or needs to talk to somebody or whatnot, do it. Don't wait. There are health insurances that allows you, once you have a traumatic event, they will give you 6 free sessions of therapy. You can do phone calls. You can go physically visit someone. You can tell them where you are, and they can tell you who's closest around you that you feel comfortable going to speak with.
Help coordinate your care.
Yes. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know what I would have done. Yes, I had family and friends, but they were also dealing with things that they needed to take care of. I needed somebody to speak to that I could talk to for an hour and a half and just cry my eyes out or scream and yell because I was so mad my hometown had just been destroyed. It's not something to play with. Your mental health is very, very important. And it's very important during healing time as well. You need that.
Right out the gate, and even coming up on a year anniversary, and a couple years after.
Definitely.
Healing will take many years. Many years.
And I totally agree with that. I mean, I'm still getting chills just talking to you and tearing up talking to you, but
it's heavy stuff. It's very impactful. What you went through was very, very powerful. But it sounds like you're the right person to carry it forward in the way that it needs to be carried forward. And you're going to be a helper much more than you already are now in the future.
Well, I really, really appreciate that.
One of the things Hurricane Michael took a lot away from a lot of us. But it gave you an experience that you will always have now, and it will make you stronger EMT for it. I have no doubt.
Definitely. And it's made this community stronger. People have come together and knocked on doors and asked some random person you've lived next to for 20 years and never spoken to them. And now you're best friends, or you've gone out of your way. Hey man, you need help fixing that roof? Or anything under the sun, even if it's just, can I get you some water?
A hot meal.
something, anything that'll help. And I've seen so much of that, especially Curious Hunter, Spread the Love.
Spread the love. So spread the love. Now, that gentleman was on Bay County streets before the storm with that sign. Did you know that?
I did.
I used to see him holding that Spread the Love sign in the middle of traffic. I swear, with the way that the country's mood is at the moment, it's like he saw a need and he filled that need on such a bring us together, united in a sense, even without the storm helping him do it.
Mm-hmm.
So then when the storm rolls over, was so glad to have him in town.
Oh, definitely.
So glad to have him. Such a
I
big beacon of light.
Yes, yes. And he's always been that way. I've met him before, and he is just as loving and caring as he is outside. I'd actually see him every day. I'd go to work or leave work, because usually he was right there on the 77 MLK line or whatever. And then sometimes he'd be across, the 231 and 77, and he moves around all over now. So look out for him. Spread the love.
I'm so glad we talked about him.
Me too. He's a huge inspiration. Just because one little hiccup, which it really isn't a hiccup now. It's more than that. I hope you can delete that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Formative. Life-changing.
Yes. Just because of a life-altering event doesn't mean he was any less appreciated before, but he is severely appreciated now. He is tremendously appreciated. People go out of their way to take a picture with him and his signs.
Or to take the route that they know he's going to be on.
Yes.
Just to get a glance at that sign and that pick me up on your way to work, on your way home from work.
Oh, yes. I don't know how many times, he doesn't know how many times he's touched me. I might be having a bad day or something. I'll honk the horn and wave at him and hey, and smiling in my truck. And I just had a really bad day. But you know what? I'm not going to give up, because he doesn't give up. He's there every single day.
So a big thank you to Decarius.
Yes, thank you, Decarius. Believe it or not, he's actually an EMT.
Really?
I saw him posted on Facebook.
Aww,
Yep.
good for him.
Yeah.
He's perfect for it.
He really is. He really is.
So for the future and rebuild ends, what are your hopes? What do you see for home? Obviously, you're going to be an EMT here, and it's going to take community members such as yourself to put Panama City back together.
Yes.
And I think we're in good hands if you're involved.
Thank you.
Do you have any hopes that you want to share with the project that you see for our community?
I would love to see more of a community gathering. I would love to see us come together more often, whether it be kind of like a family reunion, but don't base it on Michael. Base it on our community, our county. Don't base it on, what destroyed or thought would destroy Bay County. Make it about Bay County and how we're rebuilding, we're thriving, we're survivors. We're not, what's the word I'm looking for?
Victims.
Yes, we're not victims. We didn't fall to Michael. We immediately got up and said, hey, what can I help you with? Don't let don't let something so catastrophic deter you. And this county's really shown that. It really has. The mayor of Lynn Haven, she made sure things got done.
And communicated it.
Yes.
Right
And
out the gate as best she could.
definitely. Now I only live an hour away from here. Or maybe a little over an hour. But, that's my new home that I stay in. But this is home. I want to be able to come back. And I want my own little spot. And I want to be able to go to my little places, whether it be the St. Andrews Marina and sit on my swing and watch the water and the boats. and just smell the sea breeze and watch the sunset. And I don't have to have anybody there. It's home. It's that comforting. It's like whenever you say you're from up north and you love fires and sitting around the fireplace and drinking hot chocolate. Mine's going to the water and watching the sunset and sitting on that swing, smelling that sea breeze, watching the boats go by. So to have, on a sad note, to have that taken away from you, especially for like 6 months that I wasn't here, it's terrifying to not know what's going to happen, but we're 850 strong. So there's nothing we can't do.
Well, thank you so much, Ashley, for coming out and speaking with the project. And I hope that, one, you have an amazing birthday in the next couple of days.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Your recovery continues to blossom. Your EMT schooling goes well. Hopefully I never see you in that capacity.
Hopefully not.
I hope you continue uphill in your journey, and I look forward to seeing how you grow in the community, because you no doubt will, and I know you'll be home before long.
Thank you. And I have one more surprise to tell you. My sister didn't know this until, of course, my birthday. My sister actually had my baby nephew, preemie, on October 10th, 2018 in Pensacola, where she lived. Did not tell anyone. And since communications were down, my stepdad and I drove to Ebro, and I broke down in happy tears because I had a brand new baby nephew. His name's Theo, and he's the best birthday surprise I could have ever asked for. So out of all the mess I just went through, it was a glimpse of hope and an angel. And I had to share that with you because that is like the best thing in the entire world.
Yeah, I love it.
So
a little silver lining in your experience.
Oh yeah, now he's happy, healthy, and he'll be here tomorrow.
Yay! Happy birthday to little Theo as well. Well, thank you so much again.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Melissa.